Hello everybody, this is Anita, your science teacher. Children, today we're going to learn a new lesson called the fiber to fabric. Have you people heard the word fiber or fabric? Most of you may not have been, but all of you would have seen it, felt it. How? Fabric means the clothes that we wear. We see different types of clothes, they're in different colors, and if you touch the clothes, they are made up of different materials. So fabric means clothes. In this lesson, we will be understanding how the clothes are made. Children, in your house, when your mom has to prepare the breakfast, she needs to follow few procedures to make the breakfast. And if you come to the school, there are certain principles that you have to follow. If you look at the plant, it has certain steps which it needs to undergrow to become a plant. Likewise, to make a fabric, to make a cloth, there are certain procedures. In this lesson, we will be learning how the clothes are made with the use of different materials. In this lesson, there are few keywords that we need to understand. The keywords are fiber, fabric, yarn, spinning, ginning, weaving, and knitting. These are the important keywords that we need to understand in this lesson, which will help you understand how a fiber is used to make a fabric. The foremost important word is fiber. Now, what is the fiber, children? Fiber means a long thread. If you have noticed in some of your clothes, or if your mom has a tailoring machine, and when she uses the machine, if you take a cut piece cloth, the remaining cloth, you can see that there are strands of thread coming out from that piece of cloth. So these strands or these threads are called as fiber. You also would have noticed that your mom or any tailor or the clothes, if you look at in your house, they are of different material. If you look at if you touch the material, one is soft, one is very silky, and one is very rough, one is heavy, one is lightweight. So you can see the difference in the fabric. All this thing depends on the fiber that has been used to make that cloth. We do not get the fiber directly to make a fabric. Even the fiber has to be extracted. But from where do we get this fiber? The fiber are available in two categories. If you look at the flow chart here, the fiber is divided into two categories. The name itself says the natural fiber and artificial fiber. Now, what does natural fiber means? We all know that the things present in the nature which is available is called as natural. So we have natural, from nature we get the fruits, the vegetables, we get the fresh air, we get the sunlight. So these are the natural things that is around us. Same way, the fiber also can be extracted from these natural sources available, and they are called the natural fibers. In nature, we have two categories, the living thing and the non-living thing. In living thing, we have the plants, animals, and the human beings. In non-living things, you have the table, chair, your books. Each of the category have their own characteristics. Now, coming back to the natural fibers, we have two important sources from where we get the fibers. And both these sources belong to the living thing. The first is the plant, and then we have the animals. Now, we know there are many things that we get from the plant. We get the fruits, we get the vegetables, we get the flowers, we get the leaf. Most of the parts from the plant is being used by the human beings and the animals for various purposes. We eat the fruits, we eat the vegetables. All of things gives us energy to grow, to energy to survive. Also, there are many other things that we get from the plant. We get the grains, we get the spices, we get some medicinal importance from the plant. But did we know that we also get fiber from the plant to make our clothing? We will understand that in this chapter. So, there are different types of plants. We all know that. So, different types of plants have their own importance. For the fiber, we have the cotton and jute, which plays an important role in making a fabric. You have heard the word cotton. The cotton is being used by us in many ways. We use the cotton to make earbuds. We use the cotton to make in your house for puja, we use it for the bhakti. And then in hospitals, they use the cotton to rub when you are being injected. They make pillows out of the cotton. So cotton is being used for many purposes. Likewise, the cotton is also used to make a fiber. And this belongs to the natural fiber. You then have the jute. You have seen in jute there are many things made. You have the mat which is made. You have many wall hangings that is being made. Also, jute is being used as a fiber to make the fabric. Apart from the plants, we have the animal category from where we get the fiber, which is the wool, the fur, the silk. You know all, where do we get the wool from and the fur from? It could be from the goats or the sheep or by the camel. They are the fleece or the fur that is being taken from these animals. Where do we get this silk from? The silk is being taken by the silkworm. Now this also, it has a certain procedure to extract the fiber. And this silkworm, it depends on a plant called the mulberry plant to make a cocoon, and from this cocoon, the silk is being extracted. So each fiber has its own method and procedure to be extracted to get fiber. This is under the natural fibers. Coming to the artificial fiber, the name itself says it is artificial. So what do you mean by artificial? We all know that there are man-made things and natural things. The natural things we see it over here, which is the plants, the animals, the nature, the sun, the star, the air, the water, the mountain, rivers, they all belong to the natural things. Now the artificial thing is what a man makes. As the technology has improved, the man, with the help of machines and the chemicals and the technology, he has started making artificial fibers. Some of the artificial fibers use the natural fibers, which are called as semi-natural fibers, because it's a mixture of natural and artificial fiber. In the artificial fiber, we have different clothings, which is polyester, nylon, and rayon. Their texture and the material is entirely different from what we get it from the natural fiber. So, there are two types of the fiber, which is natural fiber and artificial fiber. In natural fiber, we have plants and animals that we get the fibers from. In artificial, this is made by man to make the fabrics. Now, these are the types of fibers that we had to understand. From a fiber, how do we make a fabric? For that, here is the flow chart. Now, fiber, as I mentioned, they are the long thread that are being used to make a fabric. Now, just by the long thread, one cannot make the fabric. So what they do is, from fiber, they make a yarn. Okay? Before this, now let's look in here. You see the cotton rolls, which we get from the plants. This cotton rolls, you have seen the cotton, they have this black seeds in it. So the black seeds have to be removed first to make a fiber. There are many other processes from the cotton to make a fiber. So removing the seeds from the cotton, it is called ginning. So once the seeds have been removed from the cotton, you get that soft cotton, which can be used to make a fabric. Now, once you remove the seed from the cotton, you have this cotton to make a fiber, a long thread. Now, this fiber has to be converted into yarn. Now, what is a yarn? A yarn is a ball which has this thread. It's the long thread that has been rolled into a yarn, which can be used for weaving the fabric. With the pieces of fiber, it is difficult to do a fabric. It is good if you have a long yarn, which will help you in making the fabric. Now, the procedure in converting a fiber to a yarn is called as spinning. The procedure of converting a fiber into yarn is called as spinning. Further, the yarn is then converted to a fabric. The yarn is converted into a fabric. The fabric is again a piece of cloth. Now, yarn can be converted into fabric in two methods, which is knitting and weaving. In knitting, what happens? It is a single yarn that has been used for making the fabric. Whereas in weaving, it is two different yarns that has been used to make a fabric. You all would have seen the knitting which your grandmother would have done in your house. You have seen your grandmother knitting the sweater, the shawl. So knitting is done with the process of the two sticks using one single yarn, and the fabric is made. Whereas weaving, some of them use the hand looms. Now, what is a loom, children? A loom is a machine used to make a fabric. So in weaving, either they can use a hand loom or a loom. Loom includes only machineries, only the machine does the weaving part. Whereas in the hand looms, they use a machine, but it's still manually run by a person. So a yarn can be converted into fabric by either knitting or weaving. So now this covers all the keywords that are there in this lesson. Now you understand how a fiber is made into a fabric. So fiber is a thread which is converted into yarn. With the process of knitting and weaving, a fabric is made, and fabric are small pieces of cloths which are then put together to make cloths. We all know that there are different types of cloths, different in color, different in texture. I hope all the points that we have discussed, you people have understood well. So you should now be able to explain how a fiber is made, how a fiber is used to make a fabric. Thank you, children. Have a nice day.